I have a friend named Chris, and he says this all the time when I'm with him. He says, if you stick with me, you'll go far. Now, I would like to say that to you, that if you'll stick with me here at Epic, we'll go far. You'll go far. You'll be able to have a life that is beyond your expectations when you begin to engage yourself toward that end. You know, when I think about that question, if you stick, or that offer, if you stick with me, you'll go far. I wonder really what it means to people in the world, if they even want to go anywhere. Like if I said to you, if you stick with me for the next 12 months, you're going to earn that extra $100,000. Your love life is just going to go off the charts. People are going to seek you out for advice and understanding and wisdom. And that 10 people at the end of this year will be able to look at you and say, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be where I was today. But you know what? To get that kind of life, you got to want that kind of life. It starts with desire. I was in a diner this morning having breakfast, and during that breakfast, I overheard a guy who was sitting behind me that basically said, my desire is for nothing. He said, as a matter of fact, I want to check out of regular life. And what I want to do is I want to come to a place, and I want to come to a portion of my life where nothing is expected of me. I don't want people to expect anything of me. I don't want my work to expect anything of me. I don't want my family to expect anything of me. I don't want anybody to expect anything of me. I am ready to just sit down. Now, I know that could be tempting, but it's really not a life that's going to have any kind of fulfillment to it at all. And when he comes to the end of his life, I think there'll be more regret than there is pleasure. You know, when we have the desire of what we want next in life, or even have a taste of it, and we know that God has put eternity in our hearts, and that there's more than what we have now, we can taste it, we can sense it, we know that there's more that we haven't experienced, we know that there's more that we haven't grasped, we know that there's more out there for us to access and us to experience and us to master, then it compels us to begin to get a vision based on that desire. You know, if I believe the Bible, which I do, it says that God puts desires in our heart. In other words, the desire to go further, the desire to be more, the desire to have more, the desire to have more impact even. That is something that's birthed from our uniting on the inside with our Creator, that we're created in the image of God. So it entitles us to want more. Wanting more is not something to be shunned. It's not something to be run away from. It's not something that means nothing. It's something that means something. So when you have that desire, what you got to do is begin to think in your mind, get a clear picture in your mind of what that looks like. Articulate it and write it, and then get to a place where the real power happens, and that is in faith. Now, there's two kinds of faith. There's the faith in God, and then there's the faith of God. We all start with faith in God. That's really the beginning point. And how we get to the place of having faith in God is to say, I wonder if God is real. And if God is real, I wonder if he'll be real to me. And if he's real to me, will he be someone that I want a relationship with? Will there be something for me to gain from the relationship? Will there be something for me to experience in the relationship? What is this relationship with God all about? And once we satisfy those questions, we begin to maybe answer those questions in the affirmative. We begin to say, yeah, I think there is something to God. Yes, I think there is something maybe to having a relationship with God. Yes, there is something for me to derive and benefit from a relationship with God. And then once we begin to answer those questions in the affirmative, then we come to his invitation, where he says, come and be with me. Come and have this relationship with me. Let me come into your life and you come into my life, and let's create this partnership the way it was meant to be from the very beginning. See, we were all in the very beginning as human beings created in the image of God. But when we decide to follow our own path and be our own God, that relationship is broken. We have to come back to a place of relationship by saying, yes, God, I want you in my life, and I want to be in your life. That's where faith begins. And if you're not there yet, just have faith that you might be able to have faith. Just begin to say in your mind or in your heart or in your experience, I honestly and truthfully don't know everything I need to know, I haven't experienced everything I want to experience, but I do choose to want to know more. That's where faith begins. And when faith begins, you have to understand this, or we don't have to, but we're invited to understand this, that God rewards those who honestly seek Him or pursue Him. So God will meet you where you are, and God will make sure that your life is a difference-making life, just as His life is a difference-making life. I want to talk to you more about this journey of faith and what it means to move into faith, both faith in God and then having the faith of God. So as we go forward in these next couple days, or next couple times of having these appointments together here at Epic, what I want to see happen in our lives is opening the door of possibility, opening ourselves in the realm of possibility where we say, you know what, there could be something to this, and then we experience something, and then we say there is something to this. And then we can begin to operate with the presence of God in our life. I got shadows on my face. We can begin to operate with the power of God in our life, and that's where we don't have just faith in God, but we have the faith of God. That's where things can begin to happen. But first things first, and then second things second. I'm Phil Underwood, and I hope above hope that you continue to join me in the Epic life. And not only would you join me, but you'll also invite somebody else along the way. All you have to do is go to the top of this page and you'll see share or invite. And I would love for you to share or invite the Epic page or Epic group with somebody that you know that you think might be interested in themselves having a life that is epic, experiential, participatory, imaginative, and creative, because that's where we're going. And just remember this, stick with me and we'll go far. I'm Phil Underwood, inviting you to the Epic life.